You're sitting at dinner with your family. Everyone's talking, laughing, sharing their day, but you're silent. Not because you have nothing to say, but because somewhere deep inside, you learned that your feelings don't really matter, that your problems are too small, that you're being dramatic. And the worst part? You can't even remember when you learned this. If that feeling is familiar, what I'm about to tell you might explain everything. There's a specific kind of pain that doesn't leave bruises. It doesn't scream. It doesn't even announce itself. It just quietly shapes who you become. Emotional neglect isn't about what happened to you. It's about what didn't happen. The conversations that never came, the comfort that was never offered, the validation you never received. And because nothing bad technically happened, you spend your whole life wondering why you feel so broken. Let me show you what I mean. Do you remember being excited about something as a child? Maybe you drew a picture, or learned something new, or had a story you couldn't wait to share. You ran to show your parents, eyes bright, heart open, and they looked, for a second, then went back to their phone, or the TV, or just said, "That's nice, honey," without ever really seeing you. You didn't cry, you didn't throw a tantrum, you just walked away, and you learned something that day. You learned that your joy wasn't worth someone else's full attention. That moment, you remember it because it taught you to stop sharing. Here's another one. You're upset. Maybe you failed a test, got into a fight with a friend, felt scared about something you didn't understand. You wanted to talk about it, but when you tried, you were met with silence, or worse, a response that made you feel smaller. You're overreacting. Other kids have it worse. Stop being so sensitive. So you swallowed it. You went to your room and you handled it alone, because that's what you had to do. And now, as an adult, you still do. You don't call anyone when you're struggling. You don't ask for help, because deep down, you're still that kid who learned their pain wasn't important enough. Emotional neglect doesn't teach you that you're unlovable. It teaches you something far more devastating. It teaches you that you're not worth the effort, not worth the follow-up question, not worth the deeper conversation, not worth someone putting their own needs aside to truly see you. And because you were a child, you didn't blame them, you blamed yourself. You became the easy kid, the one who didn't need much, the one who figured things out on their own, and everyone praised you for it. They called you independent, mature, low maintenance. But inside, you were just lonely. Think about this. Do you have a hard time identifying your own emotions? Like someone asks how you're feeling and you freeze. You say, "Fine," because you genuinely don't know. You weren't taught to name what's happening inside you. No one ever asked with enough care for you to learn. Or maybe you're the opposite. You feel everything so intensely that it scares you, because you spent years stuffing it all down, and now it comes out in waves you can't control. You cry over small things. You rage over minor inconveniences. Not because you're broken, but because you never learned how to process emotions in real time. Both of these are signs that you were left alone with feelings you were too young to carry. Here's where it gets complicated. Your parents might have fed you, clothed you, put a roof over your head. They might have even loved you. And this is why emotional neglect is so hard to name. Because how do you explain that you had everything and nothing at the same time? You can't point to a single terrible event. You can't say, "This is what damaged me." So you gaslight yourself. You tell yourself you're ungrateful, that you're making it up, that other people had it worse. But pain isn't a competition, and your feelings don't need permission to exist. Let me tell you what probably happens now. You overcompensate. You become hyper-aware of other people's emotions. You can read a room like a book. You know when someone's mood shifts before they do, because you had to. You had to learn to monitor your parents' emotions to know if it was safe to have your own. So now you're the friend everyone comes to, the one who listens, the one who gives perfect advice, the therapist of your group. But who do you go to? No one, because you still believe deep down that your problems aren't worth burdening anyone with, that you should be able to handle it, that needing support makes you weak. You're still that kid who's standing in the doorway hoping someone will notice you're not okay. Here's the twist you might not expect. Your parents probably experienced the same thing. Emotional neglect is generational. It's passed down like an inheritance no one wanted. Your parents didn't know how to give you emotional attunement because no one gave it to them. They taught you what they knew, which was to be quiet, to be tough, to not need too much. This doesn't erase the pain, but it does break the cycle of blame. They were doing their best with tools they never received, and now so are you. So what do you do with this? How do you heal from something you can't even fully name? You start by seeing it, by calling it what it is. You were emotionally neglected, not because you were unlovable, but because the people around you didn't know how to show up emotionally. And that wasn't your fault. You start learning to do for yourself what no one did for you. You pause and ask, what do I actually feel right now? You let yourself be sad without justifying it. You let yourself be angry without apologizing for it. You practice taking up space. And slowly, you stop disappearing. If you recognized yourself in this video, I want you to know something. You're not broken. You're not too much. You're not too sensitive. You're someone who survived something invisible. And you're still here, still trying, still searching for the connection you deserved all along. That alone makes you strong in ways most people will never understand. You were worth the attention then, and you're worth it now, even if no one taught you to believe it.